Hello, littles. How are you doing today? I'm going to read a story to you today that we have liked in our house, and it's a very sweet story. We'll talk about it a little bit when it's over. And I hope you are having a beautiful day. As you can see in the background is my my little girl, and she wanted to hear the story too, so she's here with us. I hope she's not too distracting. The story of the day is Corduroy by Don Freeman. And that's funny because that's my last name too, but I didn't write the book, did I, Jana? No. Okay, and I've asked Jana to be quiet so we can actually hear the story. Corduroy. And remember, I do not show you pictures because I want you to use your brain. Where's your brain, Jana? Point to your brain. Yeah, use your brain to make pictures in your own head. So Jana's going to hang out with me while I read this book to you right now. Enjoy it. Okay. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers, buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in overalls. And then, one morning, a little girl, not unlike this little girl, stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. Cat. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. How do we sigh, Jana? "I've spent too much money already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his very eyes, was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. How do you gasp? Something like that. We don't really know. We're silly. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace," said Corduroy. He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he said, and he tried to pick it up, but, like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled, bang, into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was doing his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now, who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with all the other dolls and animals. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only days before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mama said I can bring you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady said. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her room. Corduroy blinked. Show me how you blink. Jana's a good blinker. Blink, 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 blink. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I knew I have always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be much more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," Corduroy said. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. The end. What a sweet story. And what a nice opportunity for me to talk about how nice it
Mommy,
is.
can I go bring in my real Corduroy?
Go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead. How nice it is to talk about having friends and being a good friend, which is one of the things that we will be talking about on the Story Fairy page that your mama and your daddy can take you to, is how to be a good friend. And guess what? There are so many tricks to being a good friend, and it is actually so easy. And when you are a good friend, you will be so much happier than if you're not being a good friend. We'll talk more about being a good friend sometime soon. In the meantime, I'm signing off. I hope you had a beautiful day, and please come back and listen to more stories with the Story Fairy. Here's a kiss.